Oh, hello there, friend. What are we actually seeing starts to get complicated? It was easy. It will start to separate. Are definitely not behind that restricted access grid. They're not. Forget about it.
None of them will be able to be revived.
So please, be reasonable. Returning to the orientation we usually the private traditional. A stabby, but I don't think. And those rectangular outcroppings weren't. Here is my Catwoman glove. And I should have a floating, impossible anti-gravity blah blah blah. Now, if we were to take it, snapshots, eventually, how do you translate a discrete shell?
Well, ARIA, we've been tracking this thing for weeks and we still don't know what it is.
The basilisk has its eyes on you. What are you going to do? And at some point, the acceleration is going to get so high that you're going to pass 9.8 meters. Look, I know that neither of those examples were fun. A screaming fish on this side would never be fun, leaving me weightless no matter where I am. What the? We generate our truth endogenously or within our own bodies. I give killer high fives. Is it? Evident? This theory is only one of a dozen. Okay, good, for this rock paper scissors. Where are you right now? Bam. The finger-laser. That finger-laser. Isn't that wild? Finger-laser.
What is good coffee about? Oh, I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
No, if we can get the average frog... Yeah, no, if I can get the average frog to... Yeah, you throw it into the purification beam. Yeah, probably about... I mean, most of the cells are lost during the disintegration process, so if we can split the average frog into, you know, a couple 100 million cells, I don't see any reason why just a pond's worth... Yeah, no, I know it's a weird metric, but like a pond's worth of frogs couldn't like take over the average American What? No, why would anybody no. I have it on good authority that no one's watching me right now. What? Oh. Just like a spicy chicken sandwich, I guess? I don't know why I keep calling you. You're a Wendy's. Sorry, I was just, subscribing to some magazines. Hello, and welcome to Office Hours, a live component of the facility where good old Professor Kyle mistakenly calls Wendy's once again and allows you, members of the general public who didn't heed my warning signs and my large kaiju behind me, and all of you members of the facility, all my lovely facility staff, security team who I see in the chat already, bring you inside the facility that you see before and behind me, before you and behind me, for about the next hour or so as we talk down the science topics of the week. I know I was gone last week, but that's because we were raising $1.7 million with none other than MatPat of Game Theory for St. Jude. We had a great time. Me and Zyla Fox Lynn came out the least messy. And if you want to know what I mean by that, you can go watch the stream. But we're back here today talking about Xenobots, talking about the latest episode of the facility. As we're doing all of that, of course, as you can see by the giant monitor next to me, even though, yes, I am huge. It's even more giant than my hands. As we're going through that, if you have any old science question for your boy here, your conduit to the sciencey, nerdy universe, put it in the chat. If I don't get to it live, talk to each other in the comments afterwards, and you can always try Super Chat, as you are seeing at the top of this giant monitor, if you really, really, really want me to see something. And of course, the best way for me to see something aside from all that is to join the facility, to get videos early, to talk with me every day on Discord. We have our first Chernobyl video dropping very soon, and all my professors will see it first. But speaking of professors seeing it first, Elizabeth Calvert with the 50 says, "Hey Science Kyle, question from my tiny human Alex. Alex, I know that school, you've been worried about school. I hope school is going great. I know you're a smart little man. I know you can do it. Liz says, how do telescopes work? I think it's because of magnifying glass, but different. Yeah, it is kind of like a magnifying glass, but different. Alex, a telescope takes something in the sky that is very far away and kind of fuzzy, takes all that light and focuses it down to a point, and then from that point, it expands back out, but into another glass about the size of your eye, such that it can focus that light on the back of your eye. So no longer is it far away and fuzzy, it's on the back of your eye and focused, and that's how you see things very far away. We have Exploring with Sparky with $500 donation. Sparky, total psychomaniac, always coming in here with the 500. Sparky, you have put many of my Kevins through college here at the facility. I appreciate it, of course. I remember this guy's a psychomaniac. I saw him in Vegas when I was playing Magic the Gathering in Vegas just a couple weeks ago. And this guy, straight off skinny dipping at his private island, comes into Vegas, puts $100,000 in cash on black. It's red. He says, no, it's not. The guy looks down. It wasn't. He won all that money. He's all powerful. Victor Flores with the 10 says, hey Kyle, love the show. Do you think it's possible a human civilization can reach type 1 on the Kardashev scale? Also, you rule. Oh yeah? Prove it. I mean, thank you. I'm not totally convinced we're not going to nuke ourselves in the next 100 years. Sammy B with the 10, thank you so much. Misting Wolf, Jezeboo, welcome. Tactical Bucket is in the chat. Tactical and Heather, thank you for moderating today. If anyone gets weird, you know what to do. If I don't get to your comment, you can always leave comments afterwards. But today, we are talking about Xenobots and what they mean for the future of humanity. Spoiler alert, it's not all that crazy. It actually is pretty cool and makes a lot of sense. But we're here to demystify this mysterious But give me a minute. That other Ted says, keeping up with the Kardashevs. Now that I would watch. As I was saying before, we're talking today on Office Hours about all things science-y. Oh, Kyle, is that a new lifestyle drop from the facility that you can own? Yes. Today we'll be talking about these Xenobots and how the media may or may not have made these seem a lot scarier than they are if you heard about it. And then we'll also be taking comments and questions from the last episode of the facility, which just happened to be about Halo, which I see the campaign is getting mixed reviews, but I don't care. I'm still going to play it on stream. Probably, speaking of on stream, probably our first highlight cut-down video of Scientist Plays BioShock is now on the gaming channel. Go check it out. Kaylin Andy with the 15 says, good seeing you on the charity stream last week. Atheist Jr. says, hey Kyle, do you use a stream deck? No, I don't need anything like that. What I need is Xenobots. Kevin, hit the stream deck. We're jumping right into it, chat. Inquisitor says, I never miss a Twitch stream. I know that, Inquisitor. Thank you for being here. I love catching office hours, says All Night Dentist. Wow, you dentist all night? Dafter says, do you use a keyboard? No. It's all synced up through here. I have a wire that's running back. I attach it to my brainstem like Neo, and it's all... Hey, Mr. H. Don't... Makes me sound like your science student. You know, it's fine. Hey, Mr. H. Isaac Stevenson with a New Zealand 349. Just wondering if you're a Doctor Who fan. You know what? I'm actually... I'm not the biggest Doctor Who fan. I will say that I haven't seen that much Doctor Who. But what I have seen is very hit and miss for me. Some episodes have really fun ideas. Other episodes have terrible acting and terrible sets. And I can't get through it. So it's kind of hit or miss for me. Some of the sci-fi ideas are quite fresh and interesting. But some of the stuff I just can't do. And saying it's, kind of tongue-in-cheek and low budget, there's other things that do that much better. So I recuse myself. I haven't seen enough of it because I'm not as interested. Thomas Hadrick with 100 says, "Hey Kyle, did you miss me?" No, because I see you all the time on social media. I missed you guys. So Kyle, at some point we got to talk about advancements in DNA as a storage medium. Did you hear about Microsoft's latest news in that arena? A little bit. Also, Xenobots. Indeed. It's time to talk about Xenobots. Joe with a 10. First time here since deployment. Able to see a live stream. Happy to be here. Joe, thank you for your service. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you're happy and safe and well. And ready to talk about Xenobots. So, you may have seen... Let's hold on to the super chats for just a second so we can talk about Xenobots. I don't want to miss anybody. Xenobees, as I'm calling them. This was first brought to my attention by Dr. Sydney Chambers on Twitter. She works at SpaceX. Very smart individual. But Xenobots, and whenever there's anything that sounds like this, and robots is in the name and in the title or the headline, and self-replicating, all that stuff, people immediately jump to what a lot of you are jumping into in the chat, which is gray goo and civilization-destroying organisms. A, this isn't that. And B, this is unlike anything I've ever seen before. And it's unlike anything life has ever done. Ooh. So what are we talking about? Let me read from the study, because the study has I like the intro here. Look at this thing. Look at this Pac-Man boy. That's not, the study doesn't open that way. That'd be ridiculous. Almost all organisms replicate by growing and then shedding offspring. Some molecules also replicate, but by moving rather than growing. They find and combine building blocks into self-copies. Here, we show that clusters of cells, if freed from a developing organism, can similarly find and combine loose cells into clusters that look and move like they do. And this ability does not have to be specifically evolved or introduced by genetic engineering. Finally, we show that artificial intelligence can design clusters that replicate better and perform useful work as they do so. This suggests future technologies may, with a little outside guidance, become more useful as they spread, and that life harbors surprising behaviors just below the surface, waiting to be uncovered. I know a lot of that sounded evil, but it's not. What researchers just published, this study came out, I think came out like 2 years ago, but it's getting pressed now. It's called Kinematic Self-Replication in Reconfigurable Organisms. And they call these Xenobots. Not because these are like xenomorph evil aliens. Rather, they come from a frog. What is the name of this frog? From the African clawed frog, Xenopus levace. I'm sure I destroyed that. But the name is Xeno. So it weird form. It doesn't mean anything alien or gross. It's just Xeno. But robots. Now, what the researchers did, they did not create a robot out of whole cloth, and they did not create a creature from nothing, and then it self-replicated. That's what people would be worried about, right? These von Neumann machines or gray goo or virus kind of stuff. This isn't an animal. This isn't like an organism in the way that you think of it that's self-replicating. Instead, what happened was really interesting to me, because it's this border case of what it means to be alive. Okay. So what you're looking at here, you can see all these little Dippin' Dots, little bumps all over this thing. And those are individual stem cells from the skin of this African frog. Okay. Now, what they did is instead of letting those stem cells develop with the rest of the African frog embryo, what they did is they took these skin stem cells, and they put them into salt water. And what these skin cells had was cilia on the outside of them. Looks like this. Little microscopic hairs that when pushing against the medium that they're in this case salt water, it lets them move around. A lot of single-celled organisms and stuff have this. Okay? So cilia on the outside of these cells. So now these individual frog stem cells can move. Now this isn't a creature. This is just like, scratching some skin up. It's not like that. But it's like taking a stem cell from your skin and just plopping it into water, and it's moving around a little bit. But what happened next was interesting. Through random motion, these cells in a dish started to clump together. And then suddenly it got these bigger and bigger clumps that started moving like a single thing. And then, as those bigger clumps started moving around, something interesting happened. And I'm going to show you exactly from the study what happened. And, well, I'll narrate what's going on. So this is from the study. And here we go. Kinematic self-replication. Oh, wait. I'm in the way. I'm going to have to instant transmission out of here. Just a second. How did Goku do that? Oh, right. He focused on, like, a planet with higher gravity with a guy with tentacles on his... He was like a ghost, but anyway, here, I'll try it. So what you're seeing is these larger globs of stem cells moving themselves around a dish with more cells in it that have not yet become globbies. They're moving around in basically circles. And then the interesting thing happened. Once these bigger globules started pushing other globules together randomly, those globules themselves started moving around in a similar way. The researchers, because they didn't want to be weird, called these children. Good job. Nicaricado Abacado says, I just unsubscribed because of all the constant notifications. All right. Kick him out real quick. Anyway, moving on. What the researchers did afterwards, after these globules made their children, again, think of the branding. They used artificial intelligence, they used a computer program to see, okay, well, if these globules can make other globules by random motion, is there a way we could adjust these globules such that they better make more of themselves? They're more efficient. It's not random. So you saw there, I'm going to rewind just a second. You saw there, I rewound too far. So in the computer program, it's using these globules, and then those green left over, those are the globules it's creating, and the AI is trying to simulate, okay, well, what shape would these globules have to have, these Xenobots have to most efficiently make more of themselves out of the motion that they are doing anyways? And what they settled on was what looked like a Pac-Man mouth. Yes, if you're wondering what happened to that guy in the chat, he was, well, you know that thing, you know that laser in Real Genius with Val Kilmer that hit a house full of popcorn and the whole house turned into filled with popcorn? Yeah, turns out if you do that to someone's body, they also, anyway, so semi-toroids capable of more self-replication. Now, at the top right, you can see after they quote-unquote built these shapes in the dish, they made these little globules more often. Kind of looks like a chicken nugget making more chicken nuggets. Anyway, wait, how did Goku come back when he was instant trans? Kevin, didn't he said like a thing to a dragon, right? I don't have all the dragon. Oh, yeah, no, it's under the couch. Yeah. Okay, Shenron, can I come back? Yeah. So, this, in a nutshell, is what well, in a petri dish. This in a petri... Oh, God. This in a petri dish is what happened. The researchers took the random motion of clumps of stem cells. They saw that these random motions could push more stem cells, like a border collie rounding up sheep in a pen. They could take these stem cells, and those stem cells would start moving like the original globs. They then took these globs of stem cells and they put it into a computer program. What would be the best shape to make more globules just like you? The computer spit out this shape. They then shaped these globules themselves by hand. No genetic engineering. They probably just like sliced them a little bit. And when they did that, they produce a lot of facts and figures that look like this. But more or less what you're seeing is that they were able to maximize the number of replications. It wasn't so random anymore. They create a gunstick. Good to see you. They created stem cell bulldozers. Computational evolution of an orgasm? Yes, kind of. What's up, Kyle? I'm at work right now, but I still managed to catch you live. I gotta have my daily dose of smart. Matt Klein, welcome. So, these are the Xenobots in question. These are what all the headlines are talking about. Now, if you wanna dispel the evilness that some headlines make this sound like, this really is, and some of the researchers were quoted saying this. They said, you can think of this, I'm quoting now, Douglas Blackiston, co-author, you can think about this like using different cells as building blocks, like you would with Lego or with Minecraft. Doug, I see you appealing to the kids. Nice. But you can think about it like just if these stem cells was just like a little motor. It was just imagine a motor with a wheel on it or something like that. And you just randomly put a bunch of these motors with wheels into a petri dish, and they just hit each other and just became like a big motor and wheel. And then if you shaped that big conglomeration such that it bulldozed enough other little motors with wheels to have multiple generations, that's all that happened here. We're not talking about gray goo. We're not talking about cells breaking the bounds of their petri dishes to become some kind of organism. We're really talking about the base level thing here. There's no consciousness. There's no thought. There's no will. It is just cells moving, and we have configured them such that they move in a way that makes more of themselves. That's it. Joe Davis with the 20 says, so are they Xenobabies? Sorry, awkward dad moment. Joe, get it together, huh? So this is weird because it puts them in a weird in-between area in terms of life, right? A professor at Tufts says, we are not aware of any organism that reproduces or replicates in this way. Which, as we were saying, as the title of the study says, kinematic self-replication. So not having a not shedding off, not splitting into another copy of yourself, not cloning yourself, not birthing something, not having an embryo inside then outside. This is self-replication through kinematics, which is to say things just interacting and bumping into each other. Now, some replication does involve a lot of bumping into each other. Ask your parents. But no known organism replicates in this way, and that's probably because this doesn't really qualify as an organism in the traditional sense. But it is interesting to see or uncover another kind of way that replication, the kind of replication that could create life as we know it, another way that it could happen that we haven't seen before. And the mind reels with technologies or extraterrestrial kind of life or robots that could do this kind of thing, because it gives you another way to think about making more of something. And self-replication really is the mystery at the heart of all life itself right now. We have a great idea. We have a very solid idea of how life came to be from the beginning to now. Evolution is a perfectly valid explanation for that. But how it started in the first place, it had to be some self-replicating something, molecule. And to have another one of those ways through kinematics alone, bumping into stuff, it's an interesting wrinkle. And we get this from Xenobots. Whew. Who would have thought? Not me. Look at us. Whew. Mandatory sin with the 100 says, answer this after you're done with the xenomorphs. It's not xenomorph sin. What does a telescope's have a maximum zoom? Surely the light would eventually be so spread out that it's imperceptible. Maximum zoom for a telescope. I would guess, I'm not a telescope scientist, mandatory, but I would guess it's dependent directly on the size of the telescope and the size of the lenses and or mirrors. If you want to magnify something, it's going to depend directly on the size and the shape and the dimensions of the thing. If you had a magnifying glass the size of the Earth, of course, the maximum zoom would be much, much higher than your average magnifying glass that you did not burn ants with when you were a kid. Deuterino with a 10. Thank you. Just catching this live stream. I've been waiting for you to do a video about this. I've learned a lot in the last 6 years just by watching you. Thank you, Has it been 6 years? Yeah. I've missed a couple weeks in the last since lockdown because I have to run this whole large labyrinthian edifice all by myself now. But yeah, last 6 years, I think we've had some sciencey something appearing somewhere every week for the last 6 years. Can you believe that? Critical Maz. Xenobots lead to xenomorphs, says John Washburn. I don't think so. No, again, this is a different description of things replicating. It's not like life as you know it. It's more like taking cells, tiny machines from a living thing, the cells, and this is what I like. It's that it's hard. We don't have the descriptors for this because we've never observed this kind of replication before. But again, it's like taking tiny motors from a giant machine and just having those motors bump into each other until something weird happens. Zach with the 10 says, Kyle, have you ever considered playing Horizon Zero Dawn on Scientist Plays? Absolutely. I'm waiting right now, since the new Horizon Zero Dawn comes out early next year, I'll be playing that on stream, probably. But I probably want to play it for myself first. Because I much more enjoy experiencing a game for the first time by myself. Anthony Spencer says, so, like, if a Lego block could make more Lego blocks? No. These Xenobots are like... If you're... Brainstorm... You remember those? Brainstorm Lego sets? Like, if those... if you had a bunch of those that moved by themselves with no coordination, if they all started... You put them all in a circular area and they just started... like, bumping into each other and connecting, and that connection just caused other ones to bump together and do the same exact thing. Again, not genetic engineering, not really a living organism. Kinematic. Through motion and interaction and forces alone. It's weird, right? Tactical Bucket says, fun fact, Kyle may have auditioned for a role in the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel. I did have a voice and body, I guess, audition for the next Horizon Zero Dawn game. Spoiler alert, I did not get it. Moneymaker with the 1790 rubles. Hey Kyle, love show, hello. Why do we consider only photons as particles, although this is only a narrow part of the electromagnetic radiation visible to our eye? Why do we consider only photons as particles? We don't. So, Moneymaker, to be clear, yeah, it is kind of like a snowball effect, Asdan, with the Xenobots, Xenobibis. To be clear, the entire electromagnetic spectrum from X-rays at the long wavelength ends all the way up to long wavelengths. You know, X-ray. Oh, wait. No, I've said that wrong. Longest wavelengths. Sorry. It's hard to do this live. Longest wavelengths. Radio waves. Infrared. Visible light. X-rays. Gamma rays. Don't give that. All of those are photons. All of those are photons. It's all light. But it's light with different energies and wavelengths. The photons that we can perceive with our squishy brains, visible light, but it's all photons, and they all act as particles and waves. Which I know is confusing. I don't have time to get into it. Master of All with the Australian $10 says, hey Kyle, how's your finger pulley doing? Also, do you do indoor top rope or lead climbing or purely bouldering? Pulley's fine. What if it snapped right now? Pulley's fine. I haven't been climbing in a little while though. I've been busy. I am flying tomorrow. I am going to film, as I've said, this has been happening for months, but it's finally happening tomorrow. Tomorrow I am flying to none other than Adam Savage's cave. And we are filming something together tomorrow morning. In less than 24 hours. Oh man, I should go to bed. It's fine. Adam Frost with a New Zealand 35. Hey Kyle, wondering if you saw the Veritasium video with the light bulb turning on in 1/3 seconds. I don't quite get how it could be so quick. What if there's a break in the... Okay, now I'm British. You should ask Derek that. Derek's new video about the light speed light bulb question is an interesting one. He makes great videos about that kind of stuff. Go check it out. It was like number 5 on trending for a while. That other Ted says Adam Savage has a cave. Yeah. It's kind of a big deal. Hey, Kyle, love the show, says Evan. What's your opinion on editing the human genome to remove genetic diseases? Should we do it? Complicated. Genetic engineering, we can genetically engineer humans now. What stops us is complicated ethical questions. Because if you go into someone's genome and you edit it, you are, whether you know it or not, making a choice for all future generations of that person or that person's family. Because you get half the DNA from the parents, each parent, and then you pop out 9 months later. But because you're genetically engineering the code itself, the DNA information itself, that will be passed on. It's not like just if your mom changes her hair color, the offspring obviously won't have a different hair color. Those changes are not not inherited. But if you are, or say, what's it? That was a bad example. What's a better example? There are changes. There's many changes to an individual organism. Most changes to an individual organism throughout its lifetime are not passed on. This was like one of the first ideas for how evolution happens. It was then later replaced by the better explanation by Darwin. But what happens to a organism, I mean, there's epigenetics and it gets much more complicated, but what happens to you and your body during your life is not passed on. But if you're altering the code that will be taken from your body's cells and then expressed in a growing embryo, that can be passed on. And so, ethically, it's a complicated question. If you genetically engineer a parent to remove a genetic disease, for example, that editing or vestiges, evidence of it, will be passed on to a child or offspring or their offspring, and they have no say in the matter and no choice. Now, I think with something like, LOL, fourth time he missed my $5 donation, says Mike McLaren. Mike, will you calm down? I'm explaining ethics. Give me a second. Okay, fine, Mike, sorry. Ethically complicated, I think it's an easy question if you're removing something like genetic diseases that just leads to misery in millions and millions of people. Sure, edit that out. But if you're talking about like changing the sex of a child or even like the eye color or something, or anything more substantial than stuff that just causes a lot of harm in the world, that's when the ethical question that I ignored Mr. McLaren for, that's when it gets more complicated. What? Where are you? Deuterino says, I have Crohn's, and I was wondering if these self-replicating nanobots could have potential medical applications. Unfortunately, I know I have some family members who have Crohn's. I know it's rough. So, sorry to hear that. I hope you're managing it successfully. But I don't know. This is early research. We don't know what it could be for yet. Who knows? That's all I can say, because I don't know. Ray Goodluck with the Australian 5. Hey, Science Kyle. Love the show. No question, just a shout out to my amazing partner and a simp for science. Thanks from down under. Hey, no problem. Feral Beast. Hey, Kyle. I ordered a shirt and a sticker off your store and noticed it shipped the sticker in a separate package. To prevent extra waste, would it be possible to get the store to start shipping stickers in the same package? I'm going to write that down. I'll have you know that I do not control the shipping yard or how they package stuff, since they had a mutiny against me and kicked me out of the shipping facility I wanted to... Large rail gun... Forget it. But I don't control that. I'll look into it if I can. I probably can't do anything, but we'll see. Ms. says, hey, Kyle, glad you're having a good time on your own channel now. Thank you. It's been a hell of an 18 months, I'll tell you that. Omar says, how long did it take you to grow your hair out? My hair is eternal. Peer review. So as we're wont to do on every episode of Office Hours, I like to take a look at the comments and questions on the last episode of the facility. Look through them. See who had a fantastic comment that made me go, what? Nice. You become the Nerd of the Week. You become an honorary member of the facility. And then Kevin, over there, gives you a plaque. I've been told there's a plaque this time. Cool. So in the last episode of the facility, we dug trioed into the physics of building a Halo ring. In that episode, I said that the physics is actually pretty straightforward. And, given the canonical size of Halo's rings, seems totally possible to have a ring that can be held together by materials that we know of now, given its tangential velocity and RPM, and provide a nice 1G of acceleration on the surface to make you feel your weight, so that when you get to a ring, you're not like, I know, I'm heavy here, but it's because of the accelerate. You don't need to do that. But what did you have to say? Installation says, are you moving in on my turf? Nah, great video. No. I will never make another Halo video again. We have David saying with a 2-kilometer ring revolving at a rate that yields 1G at the rim, the Coriolis force would have an effect on everyday situations like dropping or throwing things, especially in a battlefield situation with high-speed projectiles moving over long distances. You need to be aware of which direction you're facing relative to spin and aim accordingly. Aim high when shooting into the rotation, aim low when shooting anti-rotation, aim right, and all sorts of combinations when shooting in between. Also, be very careful shooting upward at any significant angle. You could literally end up shooting yourself in the back, as some trajectories would make a projectile loop the loop. David G. This is close. This is definitely close to getting the plaque. AY, longtime listener, first time on chat, just want to say love your show. Hey, AY. Thank you for being here. Joshua said, I said Halo rings are arguably the most famous superstructures in fiction. The Death Star. Am I a joke to you? Kind of. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. But you're probably right. More people probably know about the Death Star than Halo rings, to be fair. A lot of smart people here. Peter from New Zealand. I think we could do a 5,000-kilometer ring with ordinary materials. But today on peer review, I think I'm giving it to one of the original super nerds from the Void, if I'm remembering correctly. Ninja Bear Films. There's actually one more boundary condition that's important. It actually defines the minimum diameter you can make the ring. So, like David G was saying, I say you could make this ring much smaller. Instead of 5,000 kilometers in radius or diameter. Yes, 5,000 kilometers in radius. You can make it 2 kilometers or 1 kilometer in radius. Sorry. 5,000 times smaller. And you could still get a ring with 1G that could be held together by steel. David G was saying, well, the Coriolis effect with that size of a ring would be substantial. And you'd have to account for it And Ninja Bear Films has another correction. It actually defines the minimum diameter you can make this ring. The radius doesn't just have to be large enough to give you a small RPM so people don't get sick. The radius has to be large enough that your own body height doesn't significantly change the radius calculation between your feet and head. Too small, and there's more gravity at your feet than head, which causes problems with blood flow and heart problems, etc. That's why the ISS doesn't have a spinning section. It's not big enough. I did the math years ago, and if I recall, you need the equivalent of like 10 ISS lengths connected end to end, looped in a circle, to be big enough. So even though the math says that you can get 1G on a very small ring that can hold itself together, there's other boundary conditions that you have to consider. If it's so small, say, if you're standing on the ring and you could see, you could almost, jump up and touch the other side of the ring, you might get 1G, but the difference of the acceleration at your head and feet, not to mention the Coriolis forces and stuff that David G pointed out, would make the situation untenable, unsustainable for a human organism or to live and work in. And so, though I said in the episode how small you can make it and it still works, you probably want to make it larger than that minimum radius, of course, so that everything is a lot more comfortable for the people that are going to be on that ring and less dangerous for them and easier to fire projectile weapons like Master Chief does. Does that push it into another boundary condition where no known human material would be able to withstand the rotation? That's a calculation I leave up to you, chat. But today I am making honorary member of the facility and of the void, apparently. Ninja Bear Films, you are now an honorary member of the facility. I don't remember if you've joined or if you're in the Discord yet, but you should be, because now, Kevin, right next to me, has got a plaque. Let's get everything ready. Kevin, plaque me. Plaque me sing. I don't know, just... No, that's... No, Wait, what? Kevin, this isn't a plaque. This is a badge showing that I'm now a radiation specialist who's been inside the Chernobyl nuclear power plant? No, I'm not giving... I don't care if he's a bear ninja, whether that means he's a naked ninja or a bear that's also a ninja. I'm keeping this. Why does that cat worry me, says Michael Skinner. Don't worry about... That's Chonkita. She's a very fluffy, kind of dumb-looking cat. But she's mine. Alright? I want to hear nothing. I'm an all-tortie household, by the way. We only have tortoiseshell cats in the home. In the facility. They're running around. We got Chonky, Chonkita. We have the distinguished Lady 3, Jane Marie France Teshi Ashpool. Other things that I don't want to tell you about. Xenocats? No. One of my mods, Heather, says, I love that derpy face and I would die for her. I know, Ren. She's so dumb. Her eye... She's not dumb. She's just not smart. But she tries to look forward, but her eyes are just slightly wall-eyed like that. And so she looks at you and she said, you big dummy. But she's adorable. We've had Long time. So, chat. No, I'm not giving him. It's not even a plaque. I'm keeping that. I don't want to hear about it. So, chat. DW Jones says, everyone who hasn't, would you kindly watch the Scientist Plays Bioshock video? It's quite good and totally not brainwashing you into buying the game. I put the... If you're not subscribed to the new gaming channel, go ahead and do so. Today, this morning, new cutdown. First in our series of Bioshock videos. We played hours and hours of Bioshock Remastered on stream. And this is our first compilation video of our shenaniganry under the sea. Much more to come. Bioshock, Dead Space, Fallout 4, Half-Life 2. Keep it parked on the gaming channel and you'll see it all. And if you subscribe to the gaming channel, we just crossed a milestone there where our next Scientist Plays stream, which will probably be Halo Infinite, it's going to be on the gaming channel and not on Twitch. We're going to try an experiment. I don't know if it's going to be like that going forward, but for now, we're going to try it the next time, which might be this weekend, if I can make it. Tyrannosaur Russ. I liked that last time I read it, too. Hey, Kyle, love the show. With the 10, I want to let you and all the nerds know that I'm having a tiny human girl in May. I'm glad you made sure it was human. Any words of wisdom to ease this worried mind about bringing her into this crazy world, says Tyrannosaur Russ. I'm not a father. So therefore I feel like my wisdom, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it will be stressful and difficult. But I'm also, from what I understand, it will be the most important thing that's ever happened to you. And an opportunity to see someone that you love more than anything in the universe learn and grow and love. And that sounds magical to me. So it is crazy out there. But in May, when your tiny human girl arrives, Tyrannosaur Russ, let me just in case that clip's taken out of context, he's having a baby girl. He's not. It's not a Xenobot, just self-replicating through kinematics, okay? I'm sure you will do great. I wish I had more to offer you in terms of advice. I just don't. I have zero experience. I'm good with kids. I am good with kids. I love playing with kids. My family, my cousins and aunts and uncles, tons of kids in the family. We have a good rapport. But I'm not a father myself, so I cannot comment any further. But here's hoping that everything, that it becomes one of the defining moments of your life. Kyle Howard, who has my name and also long hair in his avatar, says, here's money. Brandon, with the 5, says, hey, Tyrannosaurus, I have 7 children. Wow. When the world seems crazy, become the island of their sanity. You'll do great. Damn. That was sick, dude. Become the island of their sanity. Is it bad that the first thing I thought of when I said that out loud was an island of insanity? I mean, I know a peninsula of insanity, but we just call that Florida. They know they're I don't care. This guy. Hey, Kyle, do you miss because science? Says Omar. Omar, you're throwing a lot of these questions at me today. No, I don't miss because science. I did a superhero, pop culture, superpower, what have you, science video every week for 5 years without one break ever. I think we did 282 videos, plus over 100 live streams, plus over 100 footnotes. So you're talking about like 500 videos in like 5 years, with no breaks. I'm proud of everything that I did there. It was the stepping stone. It was a great stepping stone to where I am now. I would not be doing what I'm doing. I would not have the following that I do now without the success of that channel. But we're doing something different now. We have the opportunity to do some of the kinds of things that I've always wanted to do, like go to Chernobyl, talk about topics that wouldn't fit on that channel anymore. And I'm proud of everything that I did there, and I stand behind pretty much everything that I did there. And many of you know me from it. So for all that, I'm happy. But I also will say that I am fine with not caring about pop culture stuff anymore. It's really fine. I've thought about every superpower. I've talked about the science and engineering and physics of just about every frickin' thing in the Marvel Universe and Star Wars and everything. I'm good. Like, I'm fine. I so don't care anymore. I don't know what it is. Just working at a pop culture media company and stuff, and just that was my day-to-day life. 9 to 5 for 5 years. I feel like I did that. We did that, and now we can do something else. I haven't watched a Marvel movie since Endgame. I just do not care. Twinge, thank you. Art Dodger. It's not that I'm saying any of the new Marvel stuff or pop culture stuff isn't good. There's a lot of great stuff. Aria's been watching Arcane on Netflix, and the animation and the storytelling, it's all fantastic. And I've never played League of Legends. But there's a lot of great stuff on TV. The Expanse is coming out next week, or tomorrow, or this weekend. We'll be doing an Expanse video very soon. I like a lot of stuff in pop culture, but I'm just saying, I'm not required contractually to care about every single thing that Spider-Man does in the in his new movie, and I like that. Art Dodger says, when is the new Chernobyl video? When is the first Chernobyl video coming out? Hopefully this week. If you want, actually, yeah. So, if you become a member of the facility today, patreon.com/Kyle Hill, our last Patreon only live stream, I showed you the first 3 minutes from the video, from the rough draft. We will probably have that video done this week, and I'm really proud of it, and it's so professional looking and in a documentary kind of style. I think it's going to be very impactful, and I'm excited for you all to see it, but it's soon, and we'll have like 8 Chernobyl videos, maybe, over the next half a year. So don't worry. It's coming. And I'm proud of it, which is even better. Because there's a lot of work going there and all that stuff. Harry Johnston with the 5 says, hey from Scotland, Kyle. First office hours I've been to see live. Hopefully the first of many. Was that Scottish? I feel like I was on the edge of it. I feel like I was on the edge. Harry, welcome. You're just at the tail end of the stream. The Batman Who Laughed. Sup, Kyle? It's been a while. Holly. 8 videos or more, huh? Yeah, so the first Chernobyl video was going to be really long, but then we decided to chop it up. Don't worry, it makes sense. Because each chapter kind of has a different focus, from the power plant to Pripyat to underneath the dome, where we actually went inside. So we have 3 videos from that, and then we'll have videos about the dogs of Chernobyl, how Instagram is ruining Chernobyl and social media, how scientists go into a radioactive environment and actually measure radiation. How do you do that? How do you categorize and catalog an environment like the exclusion zone? A lot of stuff coming through. Don't worry about it. The Reaver of Darkness says, Kyle, tell me something super nerdy and abstract and random. You can cut off the tips of babies' fingers and they'll grow back, but that ability doesn't continue into adulthood. I panicked! No, it's not like they're gonna... No one's gonna go and cut off I'm just saying, they said random and... No, I don't want to talk to the lawyer. It's fine. No one's gonna do nothing, probably. I feel like I shouldn't end on that. Oh, great. Sue Wilson with the Canadian $6.99. Nice. Let me be the first ones to say, I, for one, welcome our Grey Goo Xenobot overlord. Sue! I told you it's not Grey Goo. Sue with the Grey Goo. Come on. Liquid Flames. Welcome. The 5. I saw a therapist for the first time yesterday. I was partly influenced by this channel to do so. Even just one session is helping. Thank you, says Liquid Flames. Liquid, there is no shame in talking to a therapist. Mental health is health. Mental health is health, and if you have the equivalent of a broken leg up here, I'd say that's a lot more substantial than having a broken leg down there. Don't be a prisoner to the stigma we have against treating mental illness, at least in the country that I'm in. Take care of yourself. I'm glad that I have in some way been a part of your journey to better understand and to help yourself. I'm proud of you. I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking about today. I need to talk to a therapist. Because it turns out having your appearance scrutinized every week, maybe even every single hour of every day for the last decade, isn't healthy. It's fine. Proud of you, Liquid. Proud of you, Liquid. I think you did yourself a solid. It doesn't undermine what I said. Kevin's been real... He's been really... Finally. The Reaver of Darkness says, so babies have deciduous limbs too? I also have autism too. Represent! Reaver, don't cut any baby's fingers off just because if they're young enough, they'll grow back at just the tip. Don't do that. Legally, I'm not held responsible. Finally, Ray Goodluck says, hey, Science Kyle, will there be any more Half-Life histories? Would love to see your take on 3 Mile Island, Woomera, Australia, and Stellafield in the UK. Cheers, you bloody legend. There will be more Half-Life histories, as you can imagine, Ray. Most of my nuclear history documentary time has been taken up by the 366 gigabytes of footage I shot in Ukraine. So once we get a handle on the schedule for getting all that out, there will be more Half-Life history documentaries. In fact, I think I will turn one of the Chernobyl videos into the next Half-Life history. You might remember my second most popular Half-Life history was about something is happening in Chernobyl. About radiation readings that are happening today, unexpectedly. And the media made a big thing of it. Well, guess what I did? I went into the nuclear power plant itself. I spoke to the head of radiation safety himself, and he gave me the entire rundown of what is happening inside Chernobyl today. And I even got to film the computer screens, all the readouts, everything that people are worrying about. I have footage of it. So I will do probably an update to that Half-Life history, starting out with that context and then new, like, boots on the ground footage. So it's going to be something. Moxie Foxtrot says, give us the videos! Moxie! No. It's on my time. Finally, Felix Moffat says, I got an assessment for ASD because of your video. I found out that I do, and that I'm on the spectrum myself. Thank you so much for talking about it. It helped me better understand myself. A lot of love in the chat today. We have expectant fathers that are going to do great. We have people realizing that mental health is health. Wonderful. We have people learning more about themselves. We have people learning that you can cut the Okay, I'll stop talking. A lot of love in the chat today. A lot of fantastic simping for science. A lot of donations. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It all goes towards all the educational stuff we're doing here at the facility. If you missed any part of this live stream, it will be back on the main YouTube channel after this. If you want to continue on this conversation after we are live, of course, you can go to patreon.com/Kyle Hill, where you get videos early. We're going to get discounts on merchandise, new merchandise like this, where you get members-only live streams, where you will see the Chernobyl videos first before the rest of the world. Thank you to my moderators, Crafty, Jabo, for being here. We got a little emotional today. We learned about Xenobots today. You know what? Life. I keep doing this Jeff Goldblum thing with my hands. There's a lot to life that... Anyway, I'm losing my mind a little bit. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, midnight hour, dusk. Wherever the heck you are, I hope you're having a heck of a great time. Wherever I see you next, whether that be live, whether that be on the gaming channel, whether that be streaming, whether that be in a Chernobyl video, anywhere, I hope the next time I see you, you're doing as great as you're doing today. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for supporting our work. Thank you for simping for science. Until I see you next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of whatever the heck time it is. And I tell you, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up, so I'll send you some pictures from Adam Savage's cave tomorrow. Keep it locked here. I'll show you. Until then, be nice to each other, because this is all we got.